There's a place, a school, an institution where a professor resides. One that for the past 30 years has traveled the world teaching others. A pioneer in America of the fighting science of Savate. One who codified the sports of this fighting style. One who has produced clubs, champions, and continues to develop. Listen to
Hey guys, I hope this Monday leads you all to a good and prosperous week. Wishing everybody well. We've had a lot of questions. Basically, some videos have been taken off and many questions have been asked. And one of the questions was, how long should it take us to become a silver glove of Savate? And the same question I received back in July, and it says, how long should it take my son to become a black belt? There was another question back in June, and I'm going to lump them all together. It says, how long should it take me to become a competitor? Well, let me tell you this. I've touched base with way too many people. I've been teaching for 30 years plus, and I've seen a lot of things come and go. But I've always heard the same thing come from many people around the world, around the U.S., and around the state. And every time I talk to some folks that are training in the schools, and I go, hey man, how you doing? When's your next test? When are you gonna go test for your next rank? And they said, oh, I'm just here just working out. And the other guys, you tell them about their fights, and you tell them and you say, when are you gonna go fight? Some boxers that are around town. Well, you know how it is, I'm just there. And you tell some other folks out there and you tell them, how's your son doing? Is he growing into art? Is he trying to become something in the art? Or has he achieved his black belt? Well, you know the way it is, he's just there. Well, just there, you know what? I don't want to be a just there. I've had a lot of students come and go, and I'm going to talk about Savate. I'm going to talk about martial arts, and I'm going to condense all of them into one. I'm going to talk about fighting and the just there mentality. Okay, because I don't want to be a just there. Okay, I've been doing it for such a long time. I'm going to place you all together at one time, the boxer, the saboteur, the martial artist. It doesn't matter which art you're taking. If you go train in an art, many people go in there and train because they think they need to defend themselves. Okay? They think they need self-esteem. They think they need how to learn a new way of life. Valid reasons. Okay? But once you get inside and you start liking it, okay? Many people start enjoying the different traditions of the vast martial arts and the training and so on and so forth that comes into it. And the cross training when you start getting better at it. So they just start realizing, you know what? I want to become a black belt in Kempo. I want to become a silver glove in Savate. I want to go to the golden gloves, okay? How do you find that in there to give you that motivation, okay? Because you got time frames that you can do all this stuff. Got age limits, okay? A certain age limit that all of a sudden, that doesn't mean you don't learn. I'm not saying that, that's for, and I'll explain that in another video because I'm going to be doing that. Age, regardless of age, you can learn how to defend yourself. Regardless of age, you can learn how to develop your self-esteem. Regardless of age, you can have the passion of the sport. Whether you become, maybe you're too old to fight. Now you become a referee and a judge. Maybe you become a coach. Maybe you become a second. There's a lot of things that go on with that passion. I'm going to put passion over here on the sport, and I'm going to put being real on this side. Okay? Logic. Okay? Passion, logic. I want to be spiritual. I want to be confined. I want to have the right mindset when I'm in there, that I'm going to be the ideal black belt. That's passion. Okay? You know what? I want to become a professional boxer. Passion. But if it's taking you 7 years to get a fight, okay? If it's taking you 15 years to get your black belt and you're bouncing from school to school, or you go to your club and you stay there and they tell you, you know what, you're ready for your next exam, and you say, you know, I'm just being humbled. When I think I'm ready, I'm going to take the exam. Let me tell you that. Let me tell you something here. When you get into that mentality, it's better off for you to go play tiddlywinks or go do some other entity, because once you get into that mentality, you're becoming selfish. That passion that you have is not going to be brought out. People are looking at you and they're pouring in their knowledge in you for you not to accept that and for you to go forward with it. That's my opinion. Many others can have different opinions on their own, but that's what I think. If those individuals that come into the martial arts and go into the martial arts and they've been training there and they're just there, that just their mentality. Oh, when are you going to test for brown? You've been a green belt for the last 5 years. How come you're not testing for brown? Well, guess what? Let's push it forward. Let's go for a black. No, you know, I want to be humbled. I want to do this. I just want to. When I feel the inside urge, I'm gonna. No. Let me tell you something that I learned very quick, and especially in the arts, and I've been teaching for a long time. And I'm gonna explain Savate here. Savate has regulations and traditions. Two different things. You start off with nothing first, then we go by gloves. First glove is blue, then green, then red. Red equivalent to a black belt in most systems. White, yellow. There's 3 levels of silver. I'm a silver third. I've been that way since 1994. It was a hard exam. There's very few of us. Okay, Pinocchio and Prov and Mazdua. There's very few silver third technical grades. Okay, but nonetheless, let's leave that over there to the side. I've had a lot of students that come in and you tell them, you know what, you're ready for testing. You got the material down packed. Let's prepare for the examination. They don't show up. Okay, 1 year passes. Continue training. They come back and they continue training. The excuses were made. They do it again. All of a sudden, 2-3 years go down the road. Then they come back and they say, well, Professor, can I be this, I have so much time, can I come over and become this level? You tell them, let's take all the levels, you know, because there's a lot of material that you know. Do you know the material of each level? Oh, no, but I've been here so many years. Fine. What happened there? The student was not learning the material, the curriculum, which is a must. Because that pedagogy teaches you to excel and to produce yourself into a fine silver glove or a fine saboteur. Same thing happens in Kempo, same thing happens in Kung Fu, same thing happens in Wing Chun, Taekwondo, and so on down the line. Okay? Boxing the same way. You have a period that you learn your basic elements. And I'm going to compare it to Buitron says because I come from the ring, that ring art. You have the period that you learn your basics, your basic defenses, your basic counters, and your basic combinations, basics. Then you start sparring, then you start training in the ring. Maybe you have it to go inside the ring or not. Maybe your coach takes you to the ring, tells you, let's go spar, let's go do a smoker, let's go do, you're ready for golden gloves, let's go tackle that. But if you go to the ring, into the gym, and you just go in there and you just hit the bag. You're not really following what they're telling you. A year passes by, 2 years passes by, and they tell you want to go fight. And you say, well, let me get ready. I'm going to do a little bit more work. I'm going to go work out over here and come back. Well, guess what happens? Time passes you by. And the only thing that you're doing in that gym, if you're not being used as a sparring partner, because you might be, which is also a development for that club. But if you just go in there and hit the bags and work out here, and when they tell you, would you help us out in this event, or can you help us spar with this, and you kind of move out, that's the mentality of being just there. Now, age limit in boxing in Buitron says it's up to the age of 40, and Buitron says was 41. I think they changed it to 45 because now they have a different rules and categories. This is internationally. Professionally, each state governs the age limit of the competitor boxing, but usually it's about 40, okay? Oh, it's usually about 40 years old. If you start training, you've never done anything in your life, nothing. And I've had them here, they come in my school. And they're 43 years old, and they come in and they say, you know what, Professor, I was kicking the bag, I went to CrossFit, and I came out, and I think I can be in the ring. Can you take me to the ring? Number one, I'm gonna tell you no, because of the age limit. Number two, do you really have the dedication to come in? Okay, it takes a lot. Before I decide to take somebody to the ring, he better have his basics, his intermediate skills, know how to spar, know how to use the ring. It's going to take time before I'm just going to say, you know what, you've been here 30 days, let's go fight on next month. I'm not going to do that. Why? Because I'm not going to damage somebody. That's just my personal way of thinking. Because remember, if you take somebody that is not prepared to the ring, you can damage them. You can hurt them. You can even kill them. Just the way it is, and that's the responsibility that I have, okay? And also, if I have students that continually come and they want to train, well, I'm going to train for the compete, because sometimes I have competitive classes. We have an event coming up, we have a competitive class, and everybody wants to come in here, oh, can I train in that class? Number one, they can't make it because they don't have the dedication. Second, if they do make it, all they're taking up is air because they're not serious enough because they don't have that dedication that's going in there. And we have the other ones too that come in. You start training them to compete. At the end of the competition, all of a sudden for something or other, fear gets into them, an excuse is made, and they're gone. Well, that shoots everybody's morale down. I usually give everybody one shot, one chance. After the second one, boom, you're gone. Okay, and I've done that a lot. I go, if you're that type of person, and you've always been that type of person in your training, you're never going to become that fighter, nor amateur, nevertheless professional. But let me tell you another story. Does martial arts end there? No, it does not. There's such a vast reasoning within the martial arts and pugilism that you can be a competitor, you can be just a student, you can be a second, a coach, you can be an instructor, you can have your own school, you can have your own gym, there's a lot of variations within that spectrum. Okay? And I guarantee you that those that are succeeding in each one of those categories of that spectrum are not saying, I'm just there. They have that just there mentality out the door. They left it a long time ago. Because right now, if you're being a saboteur, a boxer, or a martial artist, and going around saying, how's your training, when they ask you, and you say, oh, I'm just there. What kind of attitude do you bring to the rest of the people inside the school that you're at? Think about that for a moment. And if that's your attitude, you should be doing something else. But now, when you train in the martial art and you want to progress and you have that passion and keep on moving it forward, that builds the whole energy of a school. And once that occurs, You're going to realize that people are going to respect you more. You're going to get ahead more. Because this is the way I look at it. I've built students for all many different facets of life. Believe me, I've had competitors. I've had those that are just training for them better themselves. I've had those that are training to continue the art of Savate. Okay? And to me, it's a privilege to do that in every single aspect of life. My main concern now is to build good citizens in society. Imagine that. Build good citizens in society. I believe that martial arts training, if done correctly, build more good citizens in society than any other discipline or sport that there is. We touch a lot more people anyway. Anyway, to come back into this is this, and this goes for the parents. The dedication that your child is going to have is a dedication that you are going to do when you sign up for class and say, I'm going to be dedicated enough to bring them to class. And it's going to be you all that's going to give them that dedication and that discipline even before they enter the door to learn a discipline. And that is correct. Now, think of it this way. If you started a child at the age of 8 or 5 or 6 or what have you, out of every 10 of those kids, 2 are going to become a black belt, 20%. Okay? The rest of them are going to drop out along the way for many reasons. Some of those will end up picking it up again back when they go into college or leave high school. Out of those that come back, 20% will become black belts. Imagine that. So it takes a while. But those black belt kids that grew up becoming black belts, they're learning actually a vocation. They're actually learning a trade. The more that they stay in here, they're learning a vocation that they can use to better their livelihood as a second job or as their main job in the future to sustain their family. Imagine that, parents. Keep that in mind. And for you guys that join a school and have been there, have done this, pay attention. The higher up that you go, the expectations of you are for you to teach and to continue moving forward. Use that as your side gig or your main vocation as well. And believe me, I have students that are that way. But you have to produce. And if you're into martial arts as well as if you're in boxing in the ring, know the curriculum. People say, well, boxing doesn't have any. Really? Ask your coach. Tell him to outline it for you. If you're going to a boxing gym, ask them, when am I going to learn this? When am I going to learn the jab, the cross, the uppercut, this, and these combinations? When am I going to learn it? Am I going to learn basic combinations? What am I going to do? Tell them to make an outline for you. If that coach cannot make an outline for you, leave the door and find another school. Plain and simple. If you're a student in the martial arts, I don't care what martial arts you are, and they don't give you an outline of a curriculum that you have, when I can do this, to expectations, for me to have a proper goal mentality, they cannot provide you that, walk out the door, find another school. Why do I say that? Because those people are also at the I'm just there mentality as well. You cannot. If you have to be serious, you have to have everything outlined in a curriculum, in a training method, in a way to give out the pedagogy of the system, the style, the sport, what have you, onto your participants. I'm going to leave you with a video. And the video is on the 10 best Savate matches. Okay, it's broken down into 2 parts. I'll put them up right now. Click on it. Now, if you like this, double tap like and subscribe. We have a bunch of content coming in. The reason for this question is because we have a lot of questions been been answered about when should I train to compete, when should I train to get my glove, when should I train to get my black belt, how long should it take? Believe me, different styles have different requirements for testing. To become a black belt in Kempo, 4 or 5 years, on a serious note, 4 or 5 years. Become a silver glove in Savate, 5 years, on a serious note. Dance through Savate, easy, 5 years. Boxe Française Savate, depends on the club that you're with. Now the federation has made it, you can probably become a silver glove probably in 2.5, 3 years. But understand those values. To go into the ring, by the regulations, it's 30 days of training. Imagine that, 30 days of training to go inside the ring. If I would take somebody 30 days of training in my school, he probably doesn't know how to do a jab cross hook correctly, let alone for me to throw him into a ring. Use your judgment. Again, till next time, keep the questions coming. We've got so much stuff coming in. Sign up if you want to be part of our crew with Buy Me a Coffee at Buitrón Academy. If you guys want to look at some merchandise, it's in the link below. I'm going to do another run of my book. This is my 13th book. Was Walk Like a Band Dog and Not a Shih Tzu. It teaches you a lot of things, mistakes that I did. Because remember, I had teachers, but none of them were the business scale for the ring or for the school. And that's just the way it is. I'm contemplating about writing another book on how to do business for both the fighter and business for both the school, okay? And I'm contemplating on that. And that'll probably be my last book that I'll write, because I've already written a bunch of stuff on the subject of Savate. And I think there's a couple of other things that I want to do. Bon, you guys be safe, take care. Until next time, much peace.
Train at the best-kept secret of Laredo, Buitron Academy, 956-401-4868, Savate.biz.